Welcome back to Making the Video Part 3. The last time we finished up with processing all the audio and syncing everything up. Now we're going to start knocking out the picture and see how far we get. We know that we have 9 clips, and I've already decided that I'm going to try to put 3 across, 3 and 3 to make up the 9. So there's really nothing to it but to do it, and that is just start trying to knock it out. I've got no other way of describing that to you other than just gonna do it. And I know that I have these 3 Asian girls. I'm going to put them on the top middle. Then I'm going to try to fit somebody under them and somebody under them so I can get my center. And once I get my center, and I can work around that with my other pieces. All the while, I'm going to try to keep the size of the face pretty much the same for everybody. Not sure if that's going to work out entirely, but I think we can get close. Even though we have some vertical videos, we have horizontal videos. Anyway, so let's go in and find the 3 sisters. There they are. Okay, I'm gonna turn everything else off for now, visually, so we don't get confused with backgrounds and things in the background. There's the 3 sisters, and everything else is turned off. Okay. You can see how unruly this can get when you're stacking so many tracks on top of each other, but it's all part of the game. Now, on the 3 sisters clip, I'm going to take an effect called crop and drop it onto the clip. Now I go over to the effects controls, and I can see the crop right here. Here's the crop that I just dropped on, and I'm going to bring it in from the left. This is, again, we're just eyeballing this. If I hold down the control key, I can get much finer adjustment on this. So I'm holding down the control key as I do this, leave just the very minimum headroom. Crop, well, we don't really want to take it in too much from the right, but we're going to bring it in from the bottom. Okay, now once I've done that, I can scale it down. So I'm going to go to motion, got to twirl that down, and I'm going to just immediately take it down to 50%. And I know this is centered, so if I just bring it up, and I'm going to leave a little bit of black at the top, just a little bit. Now I know that's centered, because this is called the anchor point here, and as long as the anchor point is in the center, then whatever clip you bring in is going to be centered. Okay, so we've got that. I know that the clip I want for the center is, hang on, we're not there yet. This young lady right here, she's looking a little green to me right now, so I'm going to give her a little color here. I'm going to, oh, see? I don't have her selected. Okay, now she's selected. Now I can take some of that green hue out. She's looking a little yellow. So I'm going to go into the curves adjustment, and under hue versus saturation, hue versus hue, I'm going to grab this eyedropper and I'm going to click it on her face right there. And then I'm going to hold the shift key down while I drag this point up and down until I like the skin tone better. See, that's greener and that's more magenta. That's not bad right there. I'm also going to bring the saturation, the overall saturation down a little bit. That didn't work out for some reason, probably because I'm holding the shift key and I'm not supposed to. I'm supposed to hold the control key, and then I can make this slider, bring this slider down. Okay, that looks a lot more natural to me with that. The shirt's not so blue, and okay, now she's looking a little magenta to me. So I don't want her to be green, but I don't want her to be magenta. Okay, that looks pretty good. This one, we're not going to be able to crop a whole lot. Let me scale it down and see if we're missing any. Oh, yeah. You see there's room at the, oh, yeah. See there's room at the top and the bottom of this one. Okay, so we're going to go back to effects and grab the crop tool yet again and drag it onto this clip. And now in the effects controls, we're going to go down to the crop tool and we're going to start with the top, bring it down from the top and bring up the bottom. I'm going to bring in the right just a smidge and the left. Okay. And oh, let's turn the Three Sisters back on so we can see how they're looking up there. Okay, now you can see, I'm going to manipulate this now a little bit. I'm going to bring it down. You can see that this whole thing's going to be way too big. So we're going to scale it way back till her head's about the same size as those three girls, which is right about there. And again, I know it's in the center, right? So I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to leave a little black space there. Now, what I can tell already is I'm not going to have nearly enough room down here to put a third row. So I'm going to have to go back to the Three Sisters and scale them down. I'm going to take the, if I click on motion, I'll get this anchor point. And I'm going to take this anchor point and I'm going to move it straight up to the edge right here, right there, close enough. And then I'm going to scale it from there, and then it works like that. You see? Okay. And now I can go back to Talitha and select motion, and I'm going to just bring her down some more till her head's about the same size. And we're going to move, I'm going to bring her up. Now I believe I've got enough room underneath her for my next ones. And I have the sister and brother singing together. What are their names? Oh, Raul and Kia. There they are. Okay. We know that we can scale them down. Let's go ahead and take them down to 50% to start. And let's bring them down a lot. Well, no, let's put the crop first. We have to do the crop first. Let's do the crop. And I'm going to bring it from the left a little bit, from the right a little bit, and from the top just a little bit of headroom, not a lot, just a little. And that's pretty good. I'm not sure I want to bring the bottom up much at all. Okay. And now, if we click on motion, we know we're in the center. This dot's center. I'm going to bring this down right to here. All right. Now I'm going to use the position controls to bring it down. Again, we're going to leave a little black there. Not a lot, just a little bit. I think that's about right there. And now let's scale them down until it looks like it fits right. Wow, right about there. Okay, looking good. We are really cooking on this. This is going very, very well. Okay. Let's see what to do next. We've got the Three Sisters. We've got Raul and Kia. Who's next? This is Abril. Abril, we are going to put in the upper left to match these sisters here. All right, and we don't have to worry about her being in the center, so we can move her over here, get a better look at her. Let's scale her down. Got about 25%. And let's drop the crop tool on her. And we're going to crop from the top first. Just give you that little bit of headroom. Okay. I'm going to crop up from the bottom a little bit. Her head's going to end up being a little bit bigger because it's a vertical video, but that's all right. Okay, I'm going to move her up here. And can anybody tell me what I'm going to do next? I'm going to take that anchor point and I'll move it up to the top of where it cuts off, right there. And then I'm going to bring her scale down until she's equal with the bottom of the three Asian girls there, the three sisters. Just a little bit more. Oh, it's just very hard to do like this. But we're just going to get close for now. And then I'm going to move it over, leave a little space. Okay. Can any of you tell me what's wrong right now? Can you tell me what's wrong right now? I can tell that I'm not going to have enough room over here to put another one and have it be equal, to have it fit. What do I have to do? Well, I'm going to have to make Raul and Kia smaller. Because we moved the anchor point there, all we have to do is scale it down. Scale it down. Scale it down. There we go. Scale it down. That's about right. Well, we're going to find out anyway. Okay. And now we have more room over here. Not sure it's quite enough yet, but now we can make Talitha, we can make her larger. She's centered. So let's bring her up like that and then down until we have that black space in there. That's looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Okay. I'm going to take this young lady right here. Again, her name is Abril. And I'm going to crop in a little bit more on the... I'm going to crop some in on the... Oh, not on the left. I'm sorry, on the right. And I'm going to bring her over some more. Okay. This is starting to look pretty good. Okay. Who's next? This young lady right here. I know where I'm going to put her. Yeah, she's going to be over here next to Talitha. So let's see. Let's go ahead and just move her over. Oh, wrong one. Yep, got it. You always got to select the right one. Her name's Victoria. And let's see. Let's just scale her down about 25%. That's going to be too small. I'm just going to try to match that head size real quick. Yeah, about there. Okay. And then we're going to crop. Start with the top. We're just going to give her the most minimum headroom possible, so we're maximizing the frame. And then from the left, we're going to bring it all the way in like that. From the right, we're going to bring it all the way in like this. And I'm going to grab on, I'm going to take the motion, I'm just going to bump it up here. All right, let's crop it from the bottom. Whew, that's looking pretty good, kids. That's looking pretty good. I'm thinking we're going to have to bump Talitha over to the right, and she's not going to be able to stay in the center. Yep. And I can tell that Victoria needs more cropping on the right. Can tell right away she needs more cropping on the right. I can tell we're going to end up with more room over here than more room over here, but that's all right. We'll just bump the whole thing over. This is all trial and error, but it's worth it. Doesn't take that long. Okay. Now let's get Granville. This guy. Okay. He's going to go next to Talitha. I'm going to put a crop on him. And first thing we know we got to do is bring that headroom down. And then we're going to crop him in from the left and the right. You know what? I'm going to make him. His head's real big, and he's not scaled down. So let's scale him down, and let's open him up. Hey, I'm just going to reset the crop, and I'm going to try something here. If I double click on it, then I can move him around. His head's still a little big, so let's scale him back down some. All right. See, I'm just trying to eyeball between here and here now, get him in the center of that, and then I'm going to crop him accordingly. So if we go from the top, we can match with Talitha there, and we can come from the right and leave just the right amount of space. And then from the left, and we'll leave just right amount. There we go. And then we're going to crop him up from the bottom to matches Talitha again. There we go. Boy, we're getting there now. Now, this is going to have to be a pretty big one over here. But we can do that. Let me scrub through this a little bit. Okay. All right. So, who's next? Who's going to be next? Tracy. Oh, little Tracy. Little Tracy, I'm going to put her over here next to the brother and sister. Double click, drag it over. Come on, drag it over. Let's scale that way down, like 25%. We can go higher than that. There we go. Okay. You see what I'm doing, all right? Okay, let's put the crop on her. Her head was, the top of her head was naturally cut off by the person who shot it. So we can't touch the, all right, here we go. We're leaving that little space. Again, we're just eyeballing it. Yeah, we'll be able to tell better once we get the next picture in there. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to deal with that. Okay, up from the bottom. There we go. Boy, we only have 2 more to do. How about that? Okay, now we're going to put Janelle in. Double click. Get her over here. Scale her down. Crop. Definitely got way too much headroom there. And yeah, I can see that things are going to have to change here a little bit, and I'm going to make that change right now. I'm going to take little Tracy here, and I'm going to bump her over this way so she's kind of under her, right? And then I'm going to crop her from the right, eyeballing it, and then I'm going to bump them over. Okay, we should have enough room for Janelle now. Oh, that's not the one I want. Oh, there we go. Okay, so Janelle, we're going to get you right in here. But you know, I'm still not liking it. I'm still not liking it. Her head's a little big, so we can definitely scale her down a bit. Bumping it down with the arrow keys. Okay. I'm going to bump it over. Yep. I am going to take Talitha. I'm sorry, Tracy. I'm going to crop her from the left a little bit more. And I'm going to bump the brother-sister over a little bit more. Isn't this fun? We're having a great time now, aren't we? Okay. And now... here we go, Janelle. We're fixing you right up. And from the bottom. Hello. Here we go. Getting close. Oh boy. This is great. Now we're going to have to leave a lot of space on this one over here because of the way I did it. Now I could play with that a little bit if I bump Talitha over some. I can move Granville over. Kind of liking this. Then play with his crop. There's just no science to this. This is just all making it good is good enough. See, that's not bad. Okay. And last but not least, we have Christina, right? She's going to open up the show for us but before we're done. So let's just go ahead and get her down to 50%. Double click, we'll drag her over. Damn, that's looking pretty good. That is looking pretty good. Okay. Let's just crop her up and see what happens. We're basically done. Alright, just a little space there. And we'll bring down the top. Bring down over the right. And bring up the bottom. Wow. Pretty good, huh? What do you think? We're there. Now, we've got all this black space on the left and all this black space on the right, and obviously more on the left than on the right. And so now we need to think of a way to make this centered and to where there are no black bars. Okay? And the way we're going to do that, pardon me, is the easiest way I can think of doing it is to take all of the videos, and I'm going to protect the audio at this point, and so that the audio is not included in this next step I'm about to do. And the way I do that is just by locking each one of them. I'm going to lock all of them because I don't want them to be touched. The only thing we have to look out for is for things getting out of sync. And so far, it looks like my sync is all good. I haven't accidentally bumped anything. I've done that, man. You just accidentally bumped something and didn't even realize it. Okay, so now to do this, what we have to do, we can replace these again later if we need to, but I'm going to select all of them, all 9, right-click, and choose Nest. Okay. Okay, now they're nested together. And now, I went through trial and error to figure this out, and what I came up with, I'm not going to, do it now because it took me a while, but what I came up with here is under sequence settings, we're now going to create a different size for this. Instead of 1920 by 1080, I'm making it 1620 by 1200. Just click OK. Now look where we are. Look at that. Now this is centered. Well, it isn't centered, it's off center, but that's because we didn't start with it in the center. But now we can manipulate this. We can go over here, try to get it centered up, and we can scale it up. I can tell already this is ending up being different from the last time I did it, but it still looks good, and that's the important thing. I can see that little Tracy here needs her crop opened up a little bit, so I'm going to do that. This is just what I do, you know. It just goes one after the other like this. That's pretty close. Everything else looks pretty good. Doing a save right now. Okay, going back. Sorry. Going back to the final again. And it's still not centered, so I'm going to center it up, and I'm going to change the resolution on you again because it's too wide. It is too wide. I like the top and bottom just fine, but it's too wide. That's about equal. Okay, so let's go back to the sequence settings, and we're going to go to the width, which I've got set to 1620 right now. I'm going to set that down to 1500 and see what happens. It's better, but we're not quite there yet. That's what I mean by trial and error. Let's try 1400 and see what happens. Oh, yeah, look at that. Okay, I'm good. I could probably go down a little bit more, but, you know, it looks good to me. Okay. So sure, it looks different than the last time I did it because there's no exact science to this. You're just, you know, trying to work it out. These kids look like their heads are getting cut off a little bit, and I bet you we can do better than that. So let's go back to the main, and we're talking about, excuse me. Okay. We're talking about Raul and Kia. All right, and the way we fix them is to just bring that crop off the top a little bit, give them a little more, and then bump them down till they're equal. And then bring the crop up from the bottom. Easiest way to go. Okay, now they've got a little bit more headroom. I'm doing a save. Okay. Going back to this final thing here. This is looking pretty good. All right, now what we're going to do is, this is the end of this section because we've got this much done, and in the next section we'll talk about finishing this up and the finishing touches to make it complete.